does frustration build as we saw Jerry Jeudy
right
kind of yelling at him on the sideline?
Yeah, it's a competitive game. That's behind us at this point. I don't have any concern about their relationship, where they are, being on the same page. I think, look, everybody's competitive, wants to, play well and win games and do things the right way. So, that's something they've had a conversation on. That's completely behind us and moving forward.
What I would have done different, I probably just probably taught them off camera. You feel me? That's probably what I would have done differently. Of course, I'm gonna speak my mind and tell me what and say what I need, what I see out there. But it what it is. Football, man. Just me and Shedeur good. It's stuff like that happens. Y'all gonna make it bigger than what it is. Because the media. That's what y'all feed off of, negativity. But it is what it is. This is the life we live. So
the hardest thing in this game and right now is having trust. Having trust with everybody. Certain movements, certain way we make eye contact, like certain things, it is so detailed, and that's how I play very comfortably. So that's how I get in my comfort zone. That's how I get in my bag. That's how I'm able to do that.
The Jerry Jeudy sideline blow-up went viral for all the wrong reasons, and now Kevin Stefanski just broke his silence with a statement that nobody saw coming. While the entire NFL world was ready to pile on Shedeur Sanders after that heated exchange, the Browns head coach just flipped the script in a way that has people questioning everything they thought they knew about the situation. But here's where it gets really interesting. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees drops some insider details about what's really happening behind closed doors between Shedeur and his receivers, and it's not what the media has been reporting. The trust issues, the misconnections, the frustration boiling over on the sidelines, there's a much deeper story here that changes the entire narrative.
Hey, and I like that. We already, reacted to Shedeur, and, the big thing was, the thing that I wanted to point out was that, look, as much as people like to hate on Shedeur, right? Shedeur is pretty self-aware. Shedeur takes accountability. Shedeur sat in that meeting room and said, hey, the same thing that all the pundits have been saying all this week. Hey, Shedeur, you got to hit this pass. Hey, Shedeur, you can't hold on to the ball too long. Hey, Shedeur, if you see, you got to hit that window. Shedeur stood in front of the mics and said, hey, I need to be better. I need to rip it. I need to do those different things. So it's good to hear from Kevin Stefanski. Obviously, the relationship has been a bit spotty.
Saw a clip of Jerry Jeudy on the sideline with Shedeur Sanders, and they're arguing, look like they're arguing over the play or whatever. But this goes back to, I told y'all. What I was saying was, it's time, or next season, it's going to be trade Jerry Jeudy time, dog. It's going to be trade Jerry Jeudy time. Shedeur is talking about trust, and you got this guy on the sideline arguing with Shedeur, talking about this need to be here. No, you need to be on the same page as your quarterback, not trying to make your quarterback be on the same page as you. You tripping.
Look, let me break this down for you, because the national media is doing what they always do, jumping to conclusions without knowing the full story. After Shedeur's second start, everyone saw that viral clip of Jerry Jeudy getting in his face on the sideline. Twitter exploded. The hot take artists went wild. Shedeur can't handle the NFL. The receivers don't respect him. Primetime's kid is in over his head. You know the drill. But Kevin Stefanski just held a press conference, and what he said about Shedeur completely contradicts the narrative that's been pushed all week long. And I'm telling you right now, if you're still sleeping on what's actually happening in Cleveland, you're missing the biggest storyline of this rookie quarterback's journey. So, Stefanski gets asked directly about Shedeur's performance, specifically about how the kid admitted he saw open receivers but hesitated to pull the trigger. Now, this is where most coaches would give you the corporate speak, right? The classic, we're evaluating everything, or he's got things to work on type of answer. But Stefanski didn't do that. He said something that should have everyone paying attention. He called it, quote, a natural maturation of young players, and then dropped this bomb. He said, and I quote, knowing the person and knowing the player, I have no concerns about him letting it rip. No concerns. Zero. The head coach of an NFL team, after watching his rookie quarterback struggle with decisiveness, publicly says he has no concerns about the kid's confidence moving forward.
completely comfortable doing it?
Yeah, I think it's just a natural maturation of young players. Certainly quarterbacks getting that feel for some of those looks that you're seeing for the first time. And you try to replicate those looks in practice and make it as full speed and realistic as you can be. And then sometimes you get to the game and it's just that game speed. So I think he's doing a nice job of operating the offense. And I knowing the person and knowing the player, I have no concerns about him letting it rip, quote unquote.
Now, let me tell you why that statement is massive. Because it's not just what Stefanski said, it's what he didn't say. He didn't make excuses. He didn't throw Shedeur under the bus. He didn't even hint at the idea that maybe the rookie isn't ready. Instead, he vouched for him. He essentially told the entire football world, I know this kid, and trust me, this isn't who he is. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and this is the part that the mainstream outlets aren't talking about. There have been whispers all season about the relationship between Stefanski and Shedeur. And I'm not making this up. Multiple NFL players who have been in that building or have connections to the organization have said the vibe has been spotty at times. That's the word being used, spotty. So when you hear Stefanski come out and give Shedeur that kind of public endorsement, especially after a performance where the kid admittedly left plays on the field, it tells you something significant is shifting. Because coaches don't typically go out of their way to defend a player's confidence unless they're either trying to protect their investment or they genuinely believe in what they're seeing behind closed doors. And speaking of behind closed doors, this is where Tommy Rees comes in, the offensive coordinator. Sat down with the media, and guys, what he revealed about Shedeur's preparation and mindset should completely change how you view this situation. First off, Rees was asked point-blank about the Jerry Jeudy sideline incident. You know, the moment everyone's been dissecting frame by frame. And Rees basically confirmed it was a disagreement, but then immediately downplayed it. He said it's a competitive environment and that everybody wants to win and play well. Classic PR move, right?
Jerry Jeudy,
Right.
kind of yelling at him on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a competitive game. That's behind us at this point. I don't have any concern about their relationship, where they are, being on the same page. I think, look, everybody's competitive, wants to, play well and win games and do things the right way. So, that's something they've had a conversation on. That's completely behind us and moving forward.
But then a reporter pressed him. Do you know what the disagreement was about? Like what play it was on? And Rees shut it down. He said, I don't want to get into all the specifics there. That right there should tell you something. Because if it was just a simple miscommunication or a basic route running issue, he'd say that. But he didn't. He protected both guys and moved on. Now, here's the thing about competitive friction between a quarterback and a receiver. It happens all the time in the NFL. Tom Brady and Antonio Brown had heated exchanges. Aaron Rodgers has had public disagreements with receivers. Patrick Mahomes has been seen frustrated on the sideline. The difference is, when it's a rookie quarterback, the media treats it like it's a 5-alarm fire. When it's an established guy, it's called leadership or high standards. But what Rees said next is what really matters. He was asked about Shedeur's progression from his first start to his second start, and his answer was detailed. He talked about how Shedeur took care of the football, how the operation was cleaner, how he was more comfortable in and out of the huddle, how there was better communication at the line of scrimmage. These aren't just generic compliments. These are specific improvements that coaches track week to week. And then Rees dropped this detail that I think everyone needs to hear. He said Shedeur has been asking for extra reps in practice. He specifically mentioned that the kid will come up to him during the week and say, hey, I need another rep of this because I want to see it again. That's not the behavior of a quarterback who's overwhelmed or lacking confidence. That's the behavior of someone who's locked in and determined to get better.
Those are coachable moments for a young quarterback. Those are opportunities to point out, like, hey, this is what open looks like, or this is the defender that our eyes need to be on, and trust that you're going to make this throw. And in the same vein, he makes a lot of those plays too. So it's building comfort across the game plan, across the concepts, across the coverages he could see, to make sure that we can maximize all the opportunities we have.
So let me paint the full picture for you, because this is where the narrative starts to flip. You've got a rookie quarterback who, yes, had some moments of hesitation in his second NFL start. That's normal. That's expected. But what you also have is a kid who's taking accountability in team meetings, who's asking for extra reps in practice, who's communicating with his coaches about what he needs to see more of, and who's getting public endorsements from both his head coach and offensive coordinator about his work ethic and mindset. Now let's talk about the Jerry Jeudy situation specifically, because this is where people are getting it twisted. Jeudy was asked after the game about the sideline exchange, and you know what he said? He said the conversation is completely behind them, and they're moving forward on the same page. He didn't throw Shedeur under the bus. He didn't question his quarterback's ability. He essentially said, we're competitors, emotions ran high, we talked it out, it's over. And Tommy Rees backed that up. He said they had a conversation, it's handled, and everyone's on the same page moving forward. So the media wants to make this into some massive locker room issue, but the people actually in that locker room are telling you it's not. Who are you going to believe? But here's what I think is really going on, and this is the part that should excite Browns fans and anyone who's been following Shedeur's journey. This kid is going through the exact same growing pains that every rookie quarterback goes through, but he's doing it under a microscope because of his last name. If Shedeur Sanders was named John Smith and had the exact same skill set and the exact same performance through 2 starts, nobody would be questioning whether he belongs. They'd be saying, hey, rookie quarterback showing flashes, needs time to develop. We'll see how he progresses.
Then you probably haven't just been watching closely enough. So I'm very excited about this Sunday against Cam Ward. Obviously, they were supposed, both friends throughout the collegiate career. They were supposed to be going 1 and 2. At least they thought that was supposed to happen. So it's gonna be a great time in a great situation. So comment down below how you feel about all of this, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
But because he's Deion Sanders' son, because he came from Colorado with all that hype, because he's got the confidence and the swag and the primetime legacy attached to his name, every single mistake gets amplified. Every moment of hesitation becomes a character flaw. Every sideline disagreement becomes a referendum on whether he can handle the NFL spotlight. And you know what? Shedeur knows this. He's not naive. He sat in that press conference after the game and said exactly what his coaches have been saying all week. He saw the throws, he needs to be more aggressive, he needs to trust what he's seeing and let it rip. That's self-awareness. That's accountability. That's a young quarterback who understands what he needs to work on. Tommy Rees even addressed this directly. He was asked if Shedeur is seeing things well but not trusting enough to throw, and Rees confirmed it. He said there are opportunities the kid probably wants back, but that's going to happen with a young player when things are moving faster than you're used to. And then Rees said something crucial. He said Shedeur is making a lot of those plays too. It's not like the kid is missing every opportunity. He's hitting some, missing some, and learning what NFL Open looks like versus college Open. This is the process, man. This is literally what developing a quarterback looks like in real time. And the fact that Stefanski and Rees are both publicly backing him, the fact that they're both talking about his work ethic and his communication and his progression, that tells you they see something special. Coaches don't invest this much public capital in a player they don't believe in. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the offensive line situation, because I haven't even gotten to this part yet, and it's crucial context for understanding what Shedeur is dealing with. Kevin Stefanski announced that Jack Conklin, the starting right tackle, is out. So now you've got KT Leviston stepping in at right tackle and Tevin Jenkins at right guard. Oh, and by the way, Wyatt Teller, who was the highest graded guard in the previous game, mysteriously has a calf injury after being benched.
What open looks like, or this is the defender that our eyes need to be on, and trust that you're going to make this throw. And in the same vein, he makes a lot of those plays too. So it's building comfort across the game plan, across the concepts, across the coverages he could see.
Let me just say this. If you're a rookie quarterback trying to find your rhythm and your offensive line is in constant flux and you're dealing with injuries and position changes week to week, it makes the job exponentially harder. Shedeur is not only trying to build trust with his receivers, he's also trying to navigate a protection scheme that's changing in front of him. That's not an excuse. It's context, and it's important context that often gets left out when people are rushing to judge his performance. So here's what I think is about to happen, and this is where I'm putting my neck out there. I think Shedeur is about to have a statement game. I think all the criticism, all the viral sideline moments, all the questions about whether he can handle the pressure, I think it's about to fuel a performance that makes people remember why he was considered one of the top quarterback prospects in the first place. Kevin Stefanski doesn't give that kind of endorsement lightly. Tommy Rees doesn't praise a quarterback's preparation and mindset unless it's legitimate. Jerry Jeudy doesn't squash beef and move on unless he believes in his quarterback. All the signs are pointing to a kid who's about to turn the corner, and when he does, everyone who's been piling on is going to act like they saw it coming all along. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. Shedeur Sanders has all the tools. The arm talent is there. The football IQ is there. The work ethic is there. The leadership is there. What he's building right now is NFL timing and NFL trust, and that doesn't happen overnight. It takes reps, it takes mistakes, it takes heated conversations with your receivers and long film sessions with your coaches, and moments where you have to look in the mirror and be honest about what you need to improve.
We'll have KT at right tackle, Tevin at right guard, really how we finished in the game, so feel good about those guys.
So just so y'all know, obviously KT Livingston is going to be in for right tackle. So the starting right tackle is out. And then the right guard, Wyatt Teller, as we know, was benched last game. And now he had a suspicious calf injury. Again, this is the same right guard in which gave Shedeur a lot of praise,
And Shedeur is doing all of that. While everyone else is debating whether he's a bust 2 games into his career, he's in the building asking for extra reps. While Twitter is roasting him for not throwing into tight windows, he's meeting with Tommy Rees to understand what NFL Open actually looks like. While the talking heads are questioning his confidence, Kevin Stefanski is publicly saying he has zero concerns about it. So yeah, the Jerry Jeudy blow-up went viral. Yeah, there were plays Shedeur wants back. Yeah, he's going through growing pains. But what Kevin Stefanski just said, what Tommy Rees just revealed, what's actually happening inside that building, it's a completely different story than what's being told on the outside. This is a young quarterback with the full support of his coaching staff, learning on the fly in the toughest league in the world, and showing all the signs of someone who's about to figure it out. And when he does, when that light bulb clicks on and the game starts to slow down for him, everyone who's been doubting is going to have a lot of explaining to do. Because if there's one thing we should have learned by now, it's that Shedeur Sanders thrives when people count him out. He's done it his entire life. He did it at Jackson State, he did it at Colorado, and he's about to do it in Cleveland. The head coach just gave him the ultimate vote of confidence, the offensive coordinator is raving about his preparation, and his teammates have his back. The only question now is, are you going to keep believing the narrative, or are you going to pay attention to what's actually happening? Because I'm telling you, something special is building in Cleveland. And if you're still sleeping on Shedeur Sanders after everything we just broke down, you're going to regret it. Look, at the end of the day, this whole situation comes down to one simple fact. Developing a franchise quarterback takes time, patience, and belief. Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees just showed they have all 3 when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. The viral moments and the hot takes will always get more attention than the actual work being done, but the truth always comes out eventually. So let me ask you this. Do you think Shedeur is about to prove everyone wrong? Do you believe in what the coaching staff is saying, or do you think the doubters have a point? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to hear what you think about this whole situation. And if you made it this far, you're clearly invested in this story, so do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're going to be covering every step of Shedeur's journey. The mainstream media is going to keep pushing the drama, but we're going to keep bringing you the real story, the context, and the insider details that actually matter. This is just the beginning, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Shedeur Sanders is about to go off, and when he does, we'll be right here, breaking it all down for you. Let's run it up.